Does my child need therapy? Is the topic of this video. This is a common question that I receive from many parents, wondering, is therapy beneficial for my child? Therapy with kids is where we work on coping skills, managing emotions, and building resilience, leading to understanding of self. During the pandemic era, when everybody was in lockdown or hunkered down mode or isolation, whatever you want to call it, so children, especially young children, were exposed to this. And so they were like, oh, okay. And then they learned to, with a mask, and it's this weird phenomenon, they learned to not use their words or to express themselves. They had a mask on, they could hide. And so they learned this skill of not proper self-expression or using their words or self-regulation. And so it's caused some behaviors in society now. And we're seeing it mostly in the school sector and in the child development. The other thing that happened with the pandemic was children in being isolated, they weren't able to problem solve with their peers and to learn how to share or how to ask permission and say, hey, do you want to play? Do you want to be my friend? All those types of things. And so it's led to these other fears and behaviors that we're seeing. Therapy can be helpful in regaining these social skills and how to navigate healthy relationships with their peers. The kinds of issues that can arise from not being able to express oneself properly with their peers is there's this social rejection that happens. That children are not invited to parties, into play groups. Their peers, they don't want to play with them. They could be labeled as the bully or the mean kid if they don't know how to use their words or to self-regulate and to wait their turn with other children present and they're engaging in play or in talk. Being able to express and communicate what you need is a fundamental developmental skill for life. What does self-regulation look like with a child? It can be as simple as at the playground. A child is waiting to go down the slide. There's children lined up to go down. The children are taking turns, and then along comes another child. This child does not show proper self-regulation, meaning waiting their turn in line. And so they'll kind of push their way up the steps, get up to the top of the slide. They'll push their peer out of the way, and then they'll go down the slide. And this in turn, it causes the other children that were waiting in line to go down the slide. They're in tears, they're frustrated, they don't understand. Meanwhile, the child that has pushed their way up the stairs and then down the slide, they've come back around and they're ready to go up and down again. And so this leads to other children screaming, crying. They may put their hands on the other child and say, hey, you're the mean kid, wait your turn. And then they're screaming, yelling. One child could be putting their hands on the other child, telling them to wait, and the other one not listening. So then their fighting ensues. And so there's a big disagreement and anger outbursts and tears and a meltdown. And so self-regulation is very important, and teaching the child how to wait their turn, and everybody gets a turn. And so this is a very pertinent skill for the child to learn that will benefit them throughout their life. What would therapy look like with a child therapist, with Miss Aspen? What that entails is the child and I, during our session, we will work on identifying what emotion are we feeling? What does that mean? And how do we properly express that? Is that through a behavior, a look, our words? How do we communicate that? And how do people receive that? And so it's a lot of practicing back and forth, one-on-one with me. We also work on, I will ask the child, okay, so this is how you're feeling. Okay, how is the classroom going? Or how is this sports going? How are you developing? How are the relationships? With that, they may offer an example of, Like, well, I was waiting in line and Johnny told me that he didn't like my shirt and it hurt my feelings, so I pushed him. And so I would be like, okay, well, how can we self-regulate? How can we manage this better? Does everybody need to like our shirt? No. Does it hurt our feelings? Yes. And so I would talk with Johnny and we would say, okay, for this, next time this happens, we can say, okay, well, I'm sorry you don't like my shirt, but I do like my shirt, and that's okay. And I'm going to continue to wear my shirt. And thus, there's no hands on, there's no nothing, and the child has given a positive response, and their self esteem is still developing. So that's kind of what therapy would look like with me. I hope you have found this video helpful. And if you have, please hit the like button below or leave me a comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more helpful videos just like this one. Thanks for watching.